this is one of TC Electronics AmpWorks pedals, and it's based off of the gold center knobs and the name JIMS 800. You know this is their take on the classic Marshall JCM 800. And one of you lucky viewers will get a chance to win this actual pedal, so keep watching. First off, I purchased this pedal from Sweetwater with my own money, and at this time I have no affiliation with TC Electronics or Sweetwater in a business sense. Neither of these companies have anything to do with the giveaway of this pedal. I just hit over 200 subscribers from this channel, and I figured I would do a giveaway to give back to my viewers. This is also the typical YouTuber plug. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button, and the bell icon will let you know when I put up a new video. I have noticed that over 98% of the viewers on this page aren't subscribers. So I don't know if I'm showing up in your feeds on a regular basis with that YouTube algorithm running things. But if you do subscribe, you'll be sure not to miss out on any future videos whatsoever. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. And if you want to share this, well, there's a button for that as well. Okay, back to the pedal. The controls are laid out like a typical drive pedal. 3-band EQ, gain, boost and level controls. And there's two channels right here. There's a green one that's meant to be a clean channel, and a red one that is the overdriven and distorted side of things. The foot switches can be set to toggle between the channels or turn the pedal on or off, but with whatever channel of preference. That's kind of a neat option. There's also a boost function, and it can be set to where you like the boost like where it's like hitting the amp with a stronger signal like a boost pedal would, and that'll kind of shift the tonality a little bit, or it can be set for the boost to be afterwards, where it's just a level boost where it goes up louder with no coloring of the tone. Now there are two outputs on here as well. One is meant when you want to use this like your typical stomp box, kind of like maybe in front of your amp, but the better application would be running this into an amp's effects loop and using the power amp section of that amp and using this as the preamp. The other output is the big deal. It's meant to run into like a mixer, a PA system, or direct into a DAW, or into maybe a power amp and a full range flat response speaker. And this output has a dedicated impulse response baked into it. And this isn't just like TC's version of the classic Marshall cabinet and speaker setup. Celestion did it. And if anybody knows Marshalls, you know they pair very nicely with Celestion speakers, and it's always been part of that great sound. The back panel also happens to have a small trim pot for presence. And when I got this pedal right out of the box, I hooked it up, and it seemed to be lacking a little bit of top end and some extra clarity. And adjusting this to taste made a huge difference in this, so don't forget about that. If you get one of these pedals, or if you win it, it's worth it to kind of make sure that you take this into consideration. There's also a USB port on the back for a firmware update. There was a firmware update available when I bought this, and the first thing I did was I updated the firmware. And around the corner is an 1/8" headphone output that turns this into a nice little practice rig. I have to say, this does the JCM 800 thing quite well. It's the 80s, late 80s hard rock and heavy metal sound that still has that classic Marshall feel. It's big, it's chunky, it's not oversaturated. It's also not out of date, because this is kind of like before the high gain amp craze really kicked in. This was the high gain sound, and there's something to it that a lot of players have gone back to that JCM 800. And so that's a great thing, because now you can get it in a box and you can plug it in direct. And lead wise, this is perfect on the EQ side of things. Plenty of adjustability, and I always had no problem getting sustain and clarity that wasn't oversaturated. It definitely captures that era of British amplification quite well. Now, normally I would set a pedal board up like this. I would have an overdrive or distortion, a boost afterwards, and then I would run my time-based effects like chorus and delay and things like that. And then usually after that, I would plug into a clean pedal, pedal platform type of amp, and that'd be fine. I've done that for many years, but the using this and running direct, and kind of to use this in a way of, like, let's say, forgetting about your guitar amp entirely. Well, you take the JCM 800 and put it at the end of the same signal chain, and I would just run the speaker sim output from the JIMS 800 into the whatever I was plugging into, whether it was the PA or the DAW or a mixer or whatever I was going to go into, and get my guitar sound through the monitors. Even live, I would have no problem with that. And it basically eliminates the amp from the equation, but you still have an amp sound happening with the IRs inside here. And this is great for venues that might have issues with the volume that a guitar amp usually brings, especially small venues, maybe small clubs or bars or restaurants or something like that. You might be playing that, you want to really have that amp sound, but the patrons don't want it, and it can be overpowering. Now, however, here's how I would probably make some minor changes in how I would use this. And I would plug straight into the JIMS 800 because it's got a clean channel and it's got a drive channel and a boost. So I would kind of eliminate the drive and boost pedals right off the bat out of my signal chain and just put the time-based effects afterwards. And it kind of is how things are done in the studio. In the studio, you basically mic up your guitar amp and track with it, and then you add the effects afterwards, and that would give you that same kind of feel. And this kind of setup would also make the pedal board really smaller overall, and it turns into almost like a little bit of a fly rig at that point. Now, these are just a few of the applications how I would use this. So you could also put overdrives in front of it and treat the JIMS 800 just like you would any guitar amp. But with so many pedal platform situations I see, a lot of them, they use an amp in the box pedal, and a lot of times those amp in the box pedals they're using are generally trying to get Marshall sounds out of non-Marshall amps. So why not go with the ultimate Marshall amp in a box pedal, this? Now, in the area below, there is a link to win this actual pedal, but this giveaway is only open to the continental United States. Since I'm paying for this whole thing out of pocket, I don't have the funds to ship this worldwide. But the bigger problem I'm going to have is I'm going to have to buy another one of these because I really love this and I want one for myself. This is a real big game changer, and I definitely want to get one of these for my rig. So I'm probably going to get one for myself as soon as this goes out the door. Now, again, TC Electronics has nothing to do with this giveaway in any way. This is just my way of saying thanks to the viewers of this channel and share my appreciation. So check out the link below for the opportunity to check it out and win. Good luck to all of you, and thanks for watching. Take care.